Hi dear students. Yesterday we have discussed 9 question answers and also we solved some of the problems. Today I'll continue that same part 2 electricity lesson. Okay, so the 10th question. Why does the cord of an electric heater not glow while the heating element does? See here, the cord is made up of copper. Okay, cord is made up of copper, and what is copper? It is a good conductor, right? It is a good conductor, whereas the electric heater, it is a alloy. That means it is made up of a nichrome, and that nichrome consists of nickel, chromium, and often iron. Okay, now compare this copper and nichrome. Which has high resistance? Yes, alloy, right? That is, electric heater has a high resistance. So due to this, the lot of heat is produced in it, and it becomes it glow. Whereas copper is a good conductor of electricity, but it has very less resistance compared to the nichrome wire, so it do not glow. Okay, let's read the answer. As we know that heat is directly proportional to R, electric heater has a very high resistance, hence a lot of heat is produced and it becomes very hot and glow. Whereas cord has less resistance, hence very little heat is produced in it and it becomes slightly warm but does not glow. Copper is a good conductor of electricity. Okay, compared to the alloy, it is not good conductor of heat. Okay, I hope this is understood. Now we'll move on to the next one. Again, it is a numerical problem. Compute the heat generated while transferring 96,000 coulomb of charge in 1 hour through a potential difference of 50 volt. Okay, so this is again the direct question. First, write the given terms. So what is given? What is this 96,000 coulomb? It is a charge Q. Okay, Q is 96,000. See, that is a unit. In 1 hour, time is given, that is 1 hour. A potential difference of a 50 volt. V is 50 volt. So what you need to find? Heat generated. H you must find. Okay, so what is the formula? H is equal to Joule's law of heating. H is equal to I square R T. Okay, but here R is not given and I is not given directly. So instead of this, you can use another formula, that is H is equal to V into I into T. Okay, see, from this formula you will get this expression. Remember that when you apply Ohm's law for this, you will get I square RT. So this also applies. Remember. Now we'll substitute the value. Okay, again I is not given. Instead of this, they gave the term Q. Okay, I'll write again. See, H is equal to VIT, but instead of I they gave the charge. So I can replace I by Q over T. Okay, why? Because we know that current is rate of flow of a charge, right? So I just substituted this term instead of a I. Now T and T gets cancelled. So what is remaining? V and Q. Now we can easily find the answer. So V is 50 and Q is 96,000. Okay, so when you multiply this, you will get 5 6 are 30, 5 9 are 45 and 48. So this much of a heat is produced in the device. Okay, 48 lakh joule of heat is produced in the device. So the next question, okay, what determines the rate at which energy is delivered by a current? So which factor uh, determines the rate of consumption of current, sorry, rate of consumption of energy? It is power. Okay, why? Because power is nothing but rate of doing work, isn't it? This is also the rate of consumption of energy. See, we can also write P is equal to work done by T. So this already you had in 9th standard, or it is equal to E over T. Okay, both are correct. So here mainly the power determines the rate of consumption of energy. The next question, an electric motor takes 5 ampere from a 220 volt line. Determines the power of the motor and the energy consumed in a 2 hour. Okay, here two questions are there. So first case you need to find the power of the motor, and the second case energy consumed in it by using the value of power. Okay, let's solve the first part, that is power. So what is the formula? How do we calculate the power? It is the product of V and I. Okay, V and I. So V is 220 and the current is 5 ampere. So it is 1100 watt. So write the unit. Okay, remember that is important. So if you don't write the unit, you may lose the mark. See, if you don't know to substitute, at least write what are given terms. We'll get the minimum marks. Okay, now we came to know the value of power. So the next part is what? Energy. So energy is equal to product of P and time. That is, P is also equal to what? E over T. So E becomes P into T. So P is 1100 and the time is 2 hour. So you will get 2200 joule. Okay. Yes. Next question. How much energy is given to each coulomb of charge passing through a 6 volt battery? Okay, very easy question it is. Actually, this is the Q question of the first part. Okay, very beginning concept it is. So the potential difference is equal to what? Work done to move a charge across the conductor, right? So work done becomes a V into Q. So to find the answer, you should know the given terms, what are given and which formula is suitable for that. See, work done means we can also think of power is equal to work done by T. But here power is not there, T is not there. These terms are unknown, right? So use this formula. So voltage is a 6 and the charge, each coulomb of charge, that means 1, Q is 1. So it is a 6 joule. Okay. So here lot of formulas are there. So you must know which formula is suitable for that particular problem. Okay, the next question. This is the homework again. Similar kind of problems I solved in the yesterday's class. Go through that and try to solve these two problems. Important, it is also important. I'll give the hint. Okay, so when a 12 volt battery is connected across an unknown resistor, okay, here you need to find the value of R. There is a current of 2.5 m, it is nothing but milli. So what is milli? 10 to the power minus 3. Remember that. Milliampere in the circuit. So find the value of resistance of the resistor. Okay, so use the formula V is equal to IR. So R becomes V upon I, and V is a 12 volt, and current is 2.5 into 10 to the power minus 3, and shift this 10 to the power minus 3 to the numerator and it becomes 10 to the power plus 3. Okay, then simplify that, and finally the answer will be in the form of 10 to the power 3 only. Okay, and the next 16th one, show how you would connect three resistors, each of resistance 6 ohm, so that the combination has a resistance of 9 ohm and 4 ohm. The same similar kind of problems will discussed in the yesterday's class, in the previous class. So just refer that steps and find the answer. Here three resistors, and each resistor consists 6 ohm. R1, R2, R3 is 6 ohm. Okay, you have to arrange it so that the final answer should be 9 ohm and 4 ohm. The next one, which of the following terms does not represent electric power in a circuit? Okay, see here, which does not represent, which is not correct, you have to choose the wrong option. Okay, we know that P is equal to V into I. Okay, product of voltage and current. So here one option you can easily eliminate, right? This is the correct answer. So P is equal to VI. Now how do we eliminate other three options? Okay, now we'll substitute the values here, okay, according to the Ohm's law. So V is equal to I into R, very important relation. So I'll substitute these two terms instead of a V. Okay, so V is equal to IR and I. So I square R, right? It is I square R. Is there this option? First one. So this is also eliminated. Okay, these two are eliminated. Now we have to see the B and D. Now you just substitute the value of I. Okay, so P is equal to V, keep as it is. Here I becomes what? V by R, right? First case I substitute value for a V, and the second case I substitute value for I. So it is a V square upon R, and this one, right? Okay, so these three we can apply these three formula, but IR square is not suitable. So the right answer is here I square, IR square. Okay, that does not represent the power. The next one, okay, how is voltmeter connected in the circuit to measure the potential difference between 2 points? Obviously the voltmeter always should be connected in a parallel. There is no doubt in that. Okay, now explain the following. Here 5 questions are there. Okay, first one, why is the tungsten used almost exclusively for filament of a electric lamp? So again, this tungsten is a filament that is used in a electric bulb. Okay, because it has high melting point and high resistance. Okay, when a current flows through it, immediately it becomes hot and it emits light, and it will not melt. For this purpose the tungsten is used in the electric bulb. So the one reason is what? It has a high melting point, and it has a, the second reason is high resistance. Because of this property it is used. The next one, why are the conductors of electric heating devices such as bread toaster and electric irons, they made up of an alloy rather than a pure metal? See, same kind of question we discussed, and that is page number 103 Q question number 4. Okay, go through that, refer that answer and copy it. The next question, series arrangement is not used for a domestic circuit. Why? Okay, why is, actually it is, why is the series arrangement not used for domestic circuit? So the main, what is the main disadvantages of the series connection? First, if the one appliance or one device is damaged, suppose if it is damaged, then the other appliances which are connected to it also gets damages. That is a main drawback of series arrangement. Okay, let's read the answer. In series arrangement, if any one of the appliances fails, then the flow of current through entire circuit stops, because the same current flows in all the appliances. But in parallel, the current splits. Okay, current splits. So what happens, the other appliances also stop its working. That is the one reason. Okay, one reason. The second reason is, since series connection, there is a voltage division, right? Division of a voltage across the what devices. As a result, each appliances in the circuit receives a small voltage, because of which the amount of current decreases and the device gets hot and does not work properly. Okay, so mainly for these two reasons, the series arrangement is not preferred in a domestic circuits. One is what, since all these are connected in series, if one gets spoiled, one, if one fails or one switched off, the same current is flows in all the other appliances, so the current will not flow, and ultimately what happens, the appliances will not work. And the second reason is what, there will be a division of a voltage, and due to this, very less voltage is received by the other appliances, and because of this, the current also decreases, and the finally what happens, the device gets hot, the resistance increases, and it does not work. And this question is important. The next one, how does the resistance of a wire vary with its area of cross section? Yes, this is again the factors affecting the heat, right? So the heat is depends on the resistance, but how resistance is depends on the area of cross section. As the area of cross section increases, the resistance decreases. The last one, why are copper and aluminum wires usually employed for electricity transmission? So what is electricity transmission? Okay, so the electricity transmission, it is nothing but the bulk movement of electrical energy for a generation site. Okay, electricity transmission means movement of electrical energy, but in a bulk, like such as from the power plant to the electrical substations. In that case, we use copper and aluminum, because they have very low resistivity. Okay, very less resistance, and due to this, very little heat is produced, and also they are good conductor of electricity, hence they are employed for the electricity transmission. So I hope this is cleared, and copy it in your notes, and problems also solve it. I have given the hints, solve the problems, and copy it in your notes. Thank you, and the remaining questions we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you.